All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Hanover Raceway. It is Dream of Glory Day 2021. And here's the scene. We've got the starting gate rolling for the first of our four-pack here today. We'll have an overnight race to get us started off. Rick Ryer will have the call of race number 6. And when we come back, we'll set up the afternoon on Dream of Glory Day 2021.
Ask for Me, 3 across, firing out of there. Mostly Dally will close up along the pylons to the top 4. River Rising taking a seat 5th. Bad Boys Proxy away 6th. Kingsley B, Accelerator, we're an 1/8 of a mile in. And War Diamond, George Ketros wants front. Ask for Me, gonna keep him honest out of the 2-hole. Colin Kelly, and inside War Diamond, Ketros not yielding just yet, but he will. Opening quarter, 28 and 3. Ask for Me, Colin Kelly, now your leader. War Diamond back in second, 5 lengths to Mundutch from third. Then fourth is Mostly Dally. River Rising in fifth. Bad Boys Proxy 6th, Kingsley B, Accelerator off the turn to the half. Colin Kelly, Ask for Me in the front end. War Diamond in the pocket. First up now to the outside comes Mundutch from third. Mostly Dally will take second over fourth. 59 and 1 to the half. River Rising outer flow from 5th. Up the inside 6th. Bad Boys Proxy. Then Kingsley B and Accelerator. 5 out, 3 in. Down the backstretch towards 3/4. Ask for Me, 3 parts of a length. Mundutch from second. War Diamond there third. Mostly Dally is fourth. River Rising in 5th. Then Kingsley B and they're by 3/4. 1:28 and 3. Ask for Me at 4 to 5, and he's trying to deliver. Mundutch still digging in second, poised right there. Watch for Mostly Dally third. War Diamond is fourth. In between them, River Rising. They turn down the lane. Ask for Me outside Mundutch. Mostly Dally. Ask for Me. He's the best here in the 6th. Mostly Dally second. Looked like War Diamond might have get up third. 1:59 and 1.
All righty, so diving right into the action today as we welcome you back to the infield location here at scenic Hanover Raceway, Hanover, Ontario. Greg Blanchard and Mark McKelvey at the desk. We want to welcome everybody tuning in today. We hope you'll enjoy the coverage. We are enjoying the fact that the rain is holding off. You were here a week ago, Mark. Vastly different weather conditions, and in fact, the ground you said was still a little soft here in the infield from the rain we had last week.
One of the first things I noticed when I pulled in this morning was the baseball diamonds that you'll find in the infield here. They were wet, and I thought maybe it rained overnight. No, that was still from last Saturday. It was just a torrential downpour and made for some interesting affairs. But what I think came away from last week's races was the fact that those Dream of Glory eliminations, on paper, the best horses still got through. So despite the off tracks, the top-notch horses did not disappoint last week, which sets us up for a great final.
Yeah, a threat of rain here today, but so far so good. It's holding off at this point in time. A little bit cooler though than it's been over the last few weeks. Nonetheless, track looks fast, and we're set up for some speed today. I look at Colin Kelly, victorious here in the first race. Coverage for you this afternoon. Getting it done here aboard Ask for Me, a Mr. Big mare that was expected to win and was one of the favorites in that race. And we'll have 3 more races left to come your way here this afternoon. including the Gail Murray Invitational Pace, and of course the main event, that Dream of Glory Trot over in race number 9. Nice to see some spectators on track here today at Hanover as well, and a great atmosphere once again for what is the marquee day of their racing season annually here in Hanover. Well, we've got a great field. Let's talk quickly about that, Mark. We were talking before coming on camera today saying that we think it's perhaps the best field ever when you look at talent and depth combined in the Dream of Glory.
Yeah, just a very deep group of Ontario-sided 3-year-old trotters. We've got a mix of the boys and the girls. And when you look on paper coming into last week, you saw horses that have been competing at the gold level, horses that have been competing at the grassroots level, and horses that are finding success at both levels, and they've all qualified for the final here today. We'll obviously go a little more in-depth to the group, but overall on paper here, Greg, I'm counting at least 5 horses that I could have put in the top spot. I think it is wide open. We had 3 eliminations last week, which always makes it fun because there's really no messing around. You've got to be right there to make the final, as only first and second guaranteed you a spot in today's $50,000 plus finale.
And it's another case of the girls taking on the boys today as well. And the fillies have really made quite a name for themselves heading into the final. So 3 fillies taking on 5 colts today. That's the subject of our poll question. As again, we welcome everybody tuning in today from around North America and beyond. Here is the poll question. It's this simple. Will it be one of the fillies or one of the boys who wins today's Dream of Glory Trot Final? Let us know what you think. Leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Tell us where you're tuning in from today as well. And welcome to the broadcast. We certainly hope that you enjoy it. Let's give you a look next at what is coming up today on our 4-pack. We've already seen our first overnight race of the day. It was a $7,000 claiming event for filly and mare pacers, and it was the favorite getting it done there. And that will set the stage for the rest of today's 4-pack. We'll have the Gail Murray Invitational Pace coming up next. We'll see the defending champion back in action in that event. His name is Sir Pugsley, and meets a very good field this year. Non-winners of $6,000 on the pace over in race number 8. And then that will set the stage for the main event, which comes up in race number 9. It is that $56,200 final of the Dream of Glory Trot. And there's a look at the famous Hanover Water Tower, one of the landmarks here in beautiful Hanover, Ontario. About 2 hours north of London, about a 2-hour drive for me. Mark coming from London, you're coming from the Guelph area, and about a 2-hour drive for you as well.
A little bit under that, and a pretty smooth drive, but overall, I think you probably noticed it today. It's a long weekend in Ontario because seem to be a lot of travelers out on the road, so we hope you are enjoying this long weekend.
Alrighty, we'll take our first commercial break of the afternoon, and we'll be back to have a look at those eliminations from 1 week ago in just a moment.
Dark Horse. Download the app today.
The Ontario Select Sale returns in 2021. The sale will be held September 26th at Winback Farm of Canada in Inglewood, Ontario. Live and have online bidding available. It also features first Ontario crop yearlings from My MVP. Sale consignment also highlighted by yearlings from Art Speak, Better Than Cheddar, and Shadow Play. For more information, visit OntarioSelectYearlingSale.com.
Welcome back. You're watching live coverage from a Dream of Glory Day at Hanover Raceway. Greg Blanchard, Mark McKelvey at the desk. We'll catch up with Robert Reed Jr. Momentarily as well, who's going to be talking to some of the connections today pre-race, and he'll have some Winner's Circle interviews for us as well. Want to say hello to Donna Lawrence. She's tuning in today from Manitoba. We've got James Pearson tuning in from Scotland. Great to have James back on board today, and a big welcome to everybody watching. Let us know again where you are tuning in from. Let's rewind 1 week ago. Mark, you mentioned it, 3 eliminations, so really the pressure was on for a good result to try and make the final here this week, and what a final it shapes up to be. So let's take a look back now at those eliminations, and kicking it off was the muscle mass gelding Publicity Seeker, who was ultra impressive in winning his split.
Yeah, he certainly was. He was coming in off a narrow defeat in an OSS Gold event, and he ends up getting the 2-hole ride here as this mile gets cut out by the favorite, that being Highland Mowgli. Mowgli was also coming in off a second place finish in a gold contest at Rideau Carleton on July 11th, and you see here midway around the final turn, Doug McNair can't wait any longer, swings to the outside. You wonder too, was the rail a little bit tiring, and with just the off conditions at Highland Mowgli, I wouldn't have expected this one to get beat so soundly, but Publicity Seeker, full marks. This one was ready to rock. A big performance, winning by 3 1/4 in 2:01 and 2 for trainer Steve Bossets.
And Highland Mowgli will leave from the trailing post 8 in today's final, but Publicity Seeker really heading in the right direction for his connections. Elimination number 2 featured Sweet Soul David. Was the winner of the marquee event for 2-year-olds here last season, the Balanced Image. He's trying to become a Dream of Glory champion as well, and took a good step with that elimination victory a week ago.
Real good battle down the lane here between Sweet Soul David and Muscle Jack. Muscle Jack didn't want to give anything there, but ultimately just gets edged at the line by Sweet Soul David, who just loves this track and will put a 3-race winning streak on the line here this afternoon. So don't count that one out. He did the heavy lifting there and just got beaten. Jody Jamieson will drive for trainer Blake McIntosh.
And then it was time for the filly to put on a show in Elimination 3. Her name, Tipsy and Dixie. She also a daughter of Muscle Mass. Straight to the front, handled the track beautifully.
Yeah, just take a look at each horse that is trailing Tipsy and Dixie, just how dirty it was here last Saturday. Tipsy and Dixie, well, she'll get a bath after, but she really didn't need one the way the others did, because she just did it all on the front end. Coast to coast winner by 2.5 lengths. She's now won 4 in a row, just so handy on a half-mile oval. Here's a filly, Greg, that on paper you likely wouldn't have had ever given her consideration to knock off some top OSS Gold colts. But in a situation like today here at Hanover, and we know just how well she gets around a track like this, she is a major threat here today to get one for the girls.
And you could see the track conditions were sloppy a week ago, heavy rains, but as Mark said, really all horses pretty much handled it very well. One thing Hanover is known for, Mark, for those tuning in and don't know much about this track, is the surface here. It always draws rave reviews, and it held up well last week despite the heavy rains.
Yeah, it did, and there was times last week where the rain was just coming down so hard that maybe it almost sort of tightened up the track a little bit, and then we'd go a little break of about an hour where the rain wasn't as hard. It was more just a steady drizzle, and the track would really get sloppy, but here today the track seems to be in tip-top shape.
All righty, again, big welcome to everybody. If you are just tuning in today, you're watching live coverage from Hanover Raceway of the Dream of Glory Trot. I want to say hello to Per Nor, hopefully pronouncing that correctly, all the way from Denmark. So, as always, viewers from all over the world tuning in today, and it's wonderful to have you on board. We've got a contest that we're going to be unveiling today as well. We've promoted a little bit online, and I think people are excited about it. Various driver colors from some of the top reinsmen across the province, where they've donated and autographed those, and we're going to be giving a set of those away during each of our live broadcasts. And first up today will be none other than Double J, Jody Jamieson, the former world driving champion, perennially one of the top reinsmen in Ontario. And we'll see his set of colors on display a little bit later, and we'll announce that winner at the end of the show today, so stay tuned for that. Looking ahead to this Monday afternoon's broadcast of Industry Day from Grand River, we'll have Doug McNair. And I think appropriate, as he's been one of the top reinsmen in that big event day over the past few years. So an exciting contest. A big thank you to all the drivers who have graciously donated their colors for that wonderful contest, and we look forward to giving the first set away from Jody Jameson a little bit later on this afternoon. Time for another commercial break, and when we come back, we'll meet the field for the upcoming 7th race from Hanover.
By now, you know the name COSA-TV, an industry leader producing unique, high-quality digital content promoting harness racing in Ontario. Features, virtual programming, live events, and more. COSA-TV.
Welcome back to Hanover Raceway. As you can see, wind is an absolute non-factor. And the good news is the skies are clearing. It got quite dark about an hour ago and threatened rain, and we got a little sprinkle, but probably just enough to have that track lightning fast. So speed records could be on a variety of fronts, and we'll check in on those records a little bit later and let you know what kind of targets these horses are aiming towards. As we look ahead a little bit later to that Dream of Glory Trot final, one of the great storylines is that of Sweet Soul David, Mark, and we talked about it last season. He took the marquee event for 2-year-old colt trotters, and that being the Balanced Image, named for the late great Balanced Image. And a great storyline. Denise St. Pierre, one of the co-breeders of this horse, named the horse after his late son, and I think it was really an emotional win from a year ago.
It was. If you were with us here a year ago and you remember that broadcast, it was just raw emotion on display from Denny St. Pierre, and he made a gesture to the sky when he crossed the finish line, winning the Balanced Image, and then got obviously very emotional in the winner's circle. So you know that moment a year ago, or nearly a year ago, is something that's going to stick with him for quite some time. And you know he's probably going back to that moment here today, seeing Sweet Soul David compete in today's Dream of Glory. Sweet Soul David. This year it'll be Sylvain Filion at the controls, but Sweet Soul David draws the rail, an elimination winner, red hot coming into the final, and could pull off what would be a rare Balanced Image Dream of Glory double.
All right, so that's the story of Sweet Soul David trying to join Travers Sealster as the only other horse to accomplish the feat, and again that was done back in 2010, 2011, and he's got post 1 to work with today, so we're going to see if he in fact can accomplish that here a little bit later this afternoon. But time now to meet the field for the upcoming 7th race. It is the feature of the undercard today, and that is the Gail Murray Invitational Pace for a purse of $10,000. An excellent looking field of 8. They are just parading now, and we'll get a look at the field here, scoring out just prior to 7th race post time. Good looking tilt here, Mark. The defending champion in this event is Sir Pugsley, and he's back post 3. Runner-up Casimir Swamp Girl from a year ago leaves right next door. So
yeah, good looking rematch in another race here where we get to see some mares taking on the boys. Sir Pugsley last year won the inaugural Gail Murray Invitational, a race that saw quite a bit of action, a little bit of bumping going into 3/4, and this was one that was able to avoid any confusion and got the job done. This year, the Pat Shepard trainee is 4 for 21, had been racing in Western New York at Buffalo Raceway in recent months, most recently came back to Ontario to race at Georgian Downs, raced in the Preferred 2 on July 27th, where that one posted a third place finish. Comes back quickly here today on this Saturday afternoon for this invitational. A good group that's been put together, and really nice by Hanover Raceway to recognize one of their longtime workers here, Gail Murray, familiar face in the race office here at Hanover, and a nice touch now for the second year in a row to name this invitational after her on their signature day.
Pro Beach, number 5 here in the field. This guy, as a 2-year-old, was second in
just a real good racehorse. Was placed in stakes there as a youngster, but now continues to chip away and grind away. Last year, 29 starts, 5 wins. Now at the age of 6, 1 for 12 this year, but just appears to be the class of the field. Sylvain Filion will drive here this afternoon. First time Filion will head around the Hanover Oval here today. Comes in for just the 2 drives in the Gail Murray Invitational and the Dream of Glory with Sweet Soul David, but Filion Morrow cannot be overlooked. And right now, you wouldn't mind that 5-2 you're getting. Obviously not that 6-1 that you saw on the morning line. I don't think any of us thought that maybe Pro Beach would go off there, but 5-2 is not a bad little price.
Yeah, I'll take that price right now, and that's the one that I've gone to as my top selection. Both you and Rob feel that it will be a repeat victory for Sir Pugsley in this particular event. You know he gets over the track well. Pat Shepard, the trainer, putting up high numbers, and you get Doug McNair looking for his 3rd winner of the afternoon. Swamp Girl, runner-up last year, and coming off that win at Grand River last time, 55-3 over the Grand River Oval. That should equate to something similar, maybe even a little faster here at Hanover.
Yeah, I expect this one to just be very aggressive. I would have to think that Colin Kelly, who's coming off a win in race number 6, has to make sure that she's right there, as she is each and every week. She's on the front or lands in the 2-hole. And you know what? That consistent gate speed will have to be on display here today, because in a race like this, you expect there'll be several of them on the go. Another horse I want to point out, though, Greg, is number 8, Pembroke Legacy. Here's one that's just been chipping away in the non-winners of 3 at Woodbine Mohawk Park. This is an 8-year-old gelding for Lauren House. He trains and drives, and one that each and every week at Mohawk you just got to take into consideration. You know this one's going to give you an honest effort, and has just been a check collector. Yet to get to the winner's circle this year, but maybe a change of scenery might do this one good. We'll see what Lauren House can navigate from the 2nd tier.
All right, a shot from our famous cable cam as they line up behind the gate for the Gail Murray Invitational Pace. Excellent field of 8. 8-5 on Sir Pugsley. Trying to make it back-to-back wins in this particular race. And the voice of Hanover Raceway, Rick Ryer, standing by with the race call.
Murray Invitational Pace. They're at the top of the stretch, and here they come. They're up and pacing. Casimir Swamp Girl drives out. Life is Better down along the inside. Renda Miraggio took a peek early. Jameson, and not many leaving, so he leaves out with her. She's 3rd. Early to the first turn, Pro Beach 4th. Sir Pugsley from 5th. Pembroke Legacy 6th. Carson Shadow took back 7th. And Easton Beach to the quarter. Colin Kelly. Casimir Swamp Girl, the mare, is up front. And here comes the other mare, Renda Miraggio. The outside early 2nd, 27-3. Life is Better looks at it 3rd. Pro Beach from 4th. Sir Pugsley is 5th. Pembroke Legacy 6th. Then Carson Shadow, Easton Beach, and on the bottom turn, Casimir Swamp Girl. Renda Miraggio, a long trip outside 2nd. Life is Better is right there 3rd. Pro Beach stayed in from 4th, and now to the outside, Sir Pugsley McNair out 2nd over 5th. fifth. 56-3 to the half. Casimir Swamp Girl. This mare is tough when she's up front, and that's where she is. Outside, Random Miragio along mile. Life is Better right there third. Sir Pugsley fourth. Pearl Beach locked in fifth. Pembroke Legacy 3 wide, and there goes Sir Pugsley 3 deep, and Pembroke Legacy 4 wide by 3/4. Boom! Sir Pugsley takes over 126 far turn. Pembroke Legacy second. Here comes Carson Shadow on the outside third. Life is Better is shook loose. Casimir Swamp Girl top of the stretch. Doug McNair. Sir Pugsley looks to close it out. Carson Shadow made a break. Sir Pugsley will cruise in the Gail Murray Invitational one more time. Sir Pugsley. Pembroke Legacy second. Pro Beach shook loose third. Life is Better fourth. 154-4.
Sir Pugsley loves this particular venue and this particular race. He won it again on this day last year, and the trip sets up perfectly for him. And the old saying, Mark, it was like he was shot out of a cannon going into the backstretch.
Yeah, it certainly was. Just a quick move there. Just makes that look easy, doesn't he? Getting to the front and then gets several lengths of separation into the final turn and goes on to the score in 154-4. That is the 5th win this season for Sir Pugsley. Doubles up in the Gail Murray Invitational. Doug McNair was in the sulky here today, and Doug McNair is having a fantastic afternoon. He's now got 3 wins today, and obviously has a big shot in today's feature race when he will sit behind Publicity Seeker. But Sir Pugsley was much the best in what we expected it would be an action-packed affair. It's just that when they did get bunched up, like you said, there's one that just blasted to the front there, making that wicked move at 3/4 to get the job done.
Doug, he's been a regular presence here at Hanover Raceway the last couple of seasons, knows this venue like the back of his hand, and he knew what kind of trip it was going to take here today. So the early speed in front of him certainly helped out. A 56-3 half. Casimir Swamp Girl, Colin Kelly wanted to take no prisoners and parked out Random Miragio, but that really set it up for the backfield. But Sir Pugsley takes full advantage and wins impressively, 154-4. And the 7-year-old now inching in closer to that $500,000 mark in career earnings. Been a real nice little horse. The type, Mark, that he's almost as good on the half as he is on the big track.
Oh, big time. And those are horses that at the end of the year they can race a ton and make pretty good money if they get around a half and can have success racing towards some of those top levels on those half-mile ovals. Spent a lot of time in Western New York, as we pointed out, did Sir Pugsley. Return back to the barn of trainer Patrick Shepard, and second start back in Ontario is a winning one.
All right, there's a look at the winner back here where the rain's starting to fall just a little bit again. We're trying to look around here. The skies don't look too bad. We're trying to keep an optimistic approach here. And interesting, in a feature we're going to get a look at a little bit later on Tipsy and Dixie, the trainer Harry Polton specifically said he hopes for a sloppy track again, because I think he liked the way his filly handled it last week. But right now the track is fast, and hey, I think she's going to be as good no matter what the scenario. But a hot driver is certainly something you can never overlook, and Doug McNair has the hot hands today. That's his 3rd winner, and likely more to come here this afternoon. And again, as we look ahead to Monday, we'll be giving a set of his colors away to a lucky viewer as well. So a nice initiative there, and proving popular, I think, as you know, people want a nice souvenir from these guys.
Oh yeah, that'd be real nice to throw up, whether that's in your rec room or your man cave, whatever it might be. Get those even framed, and that would look real good hanging up there. So that's a great contest. Make sure that you are leaving your comments, letting us know that you are watching. But Sir Pugsley, takes the Gail Murray Invitational, a popular winner, 483, 42, 20. And that exacta, I touted Pembroke Legacy. I had that one listed for 4th. I just wasn't sure how that one would, fare on the half-mile oval and with the second tier, but followed Sir Pugsley, making that big move, going to 3/4, gets up for 2nd. Not a bad exacta return, $53 for those two.
All right, let's use a golf analogy. We're gonna give you that one. Right?
Okay.
It's a gimme.
It's a gimme? Okay.
We're gonna say that you you keyed the horse over 3 or 4 that you liked, and you got it. So there you go. And there is Doug McNair, Sir Pugsley making their way back into the winners' enclosure, or from the winners' enclosure to the back paddock here at Hanover Raceway. 2 down, 2 more to go. We'll be back with more in a moment.
Reach the people you have to reach by advertising in Harness Racing Update, the sport's most comprehensive and timely news source. HRU provides the best bang for your advertising dollars because we reach and engage your potential customers anywhere in the world. Not only has HRU grown its subscriber base by nearly 30% in just 3 years, but our open and click rates far exceed industry averages, which tells us that readers are engaged with the digital publication and how they receive it. Plus, your ad support helps us keep HRU free to subscribers. Find out more today by visiting harnessracingupdate.com and clicking on the advertising link at the top of the page. Reach the people you have to reach by advertising in Harness Racing Update, the sport's most comprehensive and timely news source. HRU provides the best bang for your advertising dollars because we reach and engage your potential customers anywhere in the world. Not only has HRU grown its subscriber base by nearly 30% in just 3 years, but our open and click rates far exceed industry averages, which tells us that readers are engaged with the digital publication and how they receive it. Plus, your ad support helps us keep HRU free to subscribers. Find out more today by visiting harnessracingupdate.com and clicking on the advertising link at the top of the page.
A nice look at some of the spectators enjoying the action today from Hanover Raceway. We've got some folks up in the grandstand area. We have the rooftop patio open, although people will be ducking for cover, I think, here, Mark, as we get another bit of a shower, but I think it's going to be okay here once again. Getting set for the post time of the upcoming 8th race, and just 1 race away from our main event, which is the Dream of Glory Trot. Familiar face going to be sending out a starter here. That is Mark Etzel, who has post 7 starter top of the bar, the trotting filly. And Mark reiterated what we thought earlier, that this is one of the deepest fields ever assembled.
Yeah, obviously a veteran trainer that can identify talent. There's no doubt about that. And he touches on it, obviously with the fact that this is a deep group. He's got a real nice filly. Unfortunately, she draws post position number 7, does top of the bar. And last week she was a well-beaten 3rd, but you got to look. She made up 3 spots. She made up a little bit of ground in the stretch. She had to make a big move and to get into the final, and ultimately her connections are going to hope that maybe things can shake out in her favor. They got some local connections on this one, so they'll all be here cheering loudly and proudly for top of the bar. But Mark Etzel having a pretty good week. He's got a real nice young horse as well, a trotting filly by the name of Adair Castle, who set a Canadian record earlier this week, so it could be a big week for the Etzel barn.
And Mark was a member of the Hanover Raceway board back in early 2000s, 2001, 2002, when this race came to be, and really proud, and rightly so, of how it's grown in stature, and it's become a very important race for the Ontario sired trotters here in the province. Great purse, of course, and it really has, I think, hit the mark in what they were trying to achieve with it.
Yeah, I think so. You go back to 2002 when this race started, there's some pretty great names. If you go back through the list of past champions, the first winner, Abbey Road C. So right there, the race started off on a pretty good note there, as Keith Jones and Abbey Road C took the inaugural edition in 157 and 3. Amazingly, you go through the years of this race, that record held up for quite some time until just a few years back when the stakes record was broken by Joey Batts. Most recently, though, Remember Titans was the winner last year for the Sean Stacey barn. Doug McNair was in the sulky, and for Doug McNair, he's won most of the big races in Ontario. That was his first Dream of Glory. I know that meant a lot to him last year when he was making the weekly trips up to Hanover.
Nice shot from right back in the paddock location at Hanover as the horses and drivers and their caretakers make their way out for the upcoming 8th race. Just one away from our main event this afternoon. That's the $56,000 Dream of Glory trot. Here there is a scratch of the number 7, Keep It In Perspective, so it will be a field of 7 on the pace. And we're going to meet them on the post parade here in just a moment. In terms of looking at the drivers in this race, Doug McNair gives the rest of them a break. He's not involved here. Bruce Richardson off of his drives here today. I didn't pick up the change on the number 3 here, so we'll see that when they come out for post parade. It looks like it's Brett McDonald. I believe Brett McDonald driving the number 3. Steely Dan in this particular spot. 8-5 in favor, Just Daisy. For trainer driver Terry Fritz, daughter of Sunshine Beach, has been doing some good things and did win the last 2 times out over this oval.
Picked up victories there at the end of June and then took a trip to Georgian Downs, where this one found the winner's circle for the first time at Georgian on July 3rd. Most recently, though, has finished 3rd and 7th back on July 17th. It was the most recent start, a 7th place effort. Was saddled with an outside post position and post position number 8. Returns back to Hanover here today, so you'd think that one will feel a lot of comfort back home here at Hanover. Will Just Daisy. Another one to keep an eye on, though, will be the Rail Starter Sports Zipper. This is a 3-year-old colt by Sports Rider, trained by Brett Lester. Louis Waugh will steer. Waugh, familiar with this one because he did qualify it back in March and then drove it the first time it raced this year at London before racing got shut down. And most recently it's just kind of bounced around a little bit between Clinton and Hanover. Some top results, then, you know, maybe not the finest of efforts, but the last 2 starts have been pretty good overall, and I think Sports Zipper's one to really respect with that rail starting spot and getting Louis Waugh back in the bike.
A look there at Mark McKinnon getting the drive on Zipper Sweater. A zipper sweater would be nice today. It's a little bit chillier than normal outside this afternoon, but Zipper Sweater, a Bettor's Delight filly, comes off a win here last time on that sloppy track in 2:04 and 3. Disregard the time from last week. Times nowhere close to what these horses normally go, but the fact is the horse handled the track ultimately and won. A good look at final scoring out from Sports Zipper, the one that you just talked about. Your assessment of what you saw there, a nice close-up look, and you're trying to watch for things like that on these half-mile ovals and how horses might handle things, especially in the early going.
Exactly, when the driver after the post parade decides to turn them and send them one into the first turn, you like to see how they get around. You know, the other night I was at Grand River Raceway before one of the Battle of Waterloo eliminations, and you just watched how the drivers were handling the youngsters when they were scoring down, and there was a few that really you could tell we're not going to have a lot of fun going into those turns. You know, sometimes these horses are so athletic that they can make it through, but other times it's a real good sign of what you should be doing with your betting dollars. So it's great when you're, especially in person here at Hanover on a day like today, to get a good look at them. And just to follow up on your note about number 6 Zipper Sweater, 23-1 is a pretty big price. I would not have expected that. And for the Osceola barn, they have been sending horses here to Hanover the last several weeks, 1 or 2 each week. Some youngsters, some 3-year-olds that are inexperienced. Maybe they're not where they had hoped they would be, but they're bringing them here to get them that experience, and they're getting their confidence up. Zipper Sweater, it took a little while, but she broke her maiden last week. Maybe she can parlay that into a second career win here today off that confidence boost.
There's a look at Nat Day driving Tough Son of a Beach, the number 2, and Speaking of Nat, she won the inaugural Women's Drivers Challenge last weekend. It was a 2-day challenge. It rotated between here and Dresden Raceway. And not surprisingly, I think Nat would have been considered the favorite, or certainly one of the favorites going into the event. And she's, over the last few seasons, really become a regular at these racetracks, and takes a back seat to very few. She's a really talented driver, and that was on display in that challenge.
Yeah, it certainly was. Natasha Day and then also Marie-Claude Auger, they were probably the two in the field that were driving the most going into the championship, and of course they did finish 1-2, but I think what it showed was, there are a lot of talented females out there. And again, it's all about opportunity. And Natasha Day, she tries to make the most of the opportunities that she gets, and she continues to put herself on that radar. And each and every week here in places like Hanover or Clinton, she constantly seems to find the winner's circle. She's a fan favorite here. And again, I think her stock's just going to continue to rise, and just took a real good advantage of the platform that she had with that OLG Ontario Women's Driving Championship.
It was a very entertaining couple of days. The ladies put on a great show, and hats off to Steve Fitzsimmons, the GM here, who was the brain child of him, and Gary Patterson and the folks down at Dresden as well taking part, and thanks to OLG for that. So an event that I think we'll see again next year, and probably even grow and include some other tracks. We've got the starting gate rolling now for race number 8. A field of 7, take out number 7, keep it in perspective here. And once again, Rick Ryer with the race call.
6 zipper sweater, Mark McKinnon. 7 scratch trailer, the Sportsman, Colin Kelly. Field of 7, race 8. The mile for a purse of $4,600. It's post time. Eighth race, top of the stretch. Near they come. They're up and pacing. Sport Zipper, Tough Son of a Beach will leave out together. Just Daisy center of the racetrack, and following through is Steely Dawn to that first turn. Louis Waugh, Sport Zippers made front. Tough Son of a Beach away second. Just Daisy and Terry will take a seat from third. Steely Dawn away fourth. The Sportsman looks at it early fifth. State of Treasure is sixth. And from seventh, that's Zipper Sweater. By the opening quarter, the little Sport Zipper. Louis Philip was up front to 29-2. Tough Son of a Beach looks at it second. Just Daisy biding her time there from third. Steely Dawn is racing fourth and brought to the outside. Battle Flush, Just Daisy. Fifth, following that cover, is the Sportsman as they pace off the turn. Over towards the half, 4 to 5. Sport Zipper is up front. Tough Son of a Beach in the pocket. Just Daisy first up outside third. Steely Dawn following cover in fourth. Sportsman is fifth by the half, a rated minute and 2/5, 31 seconds, second quarter. Then we're back to State of Treasure and Zipper Sweater. They pace the turn. Sport Zipper is up front. Outside Just Daisy. Steely Dawn from third. Tough Son of a Beach right there in the pocket. Fourth, down the backstretch with a backstretch camera. Sport Zipper is up front. Just Daisy within a half length. Tough Son of a Beach right there third. 3/4, 129-4. Steely Dawn 3 wide from fourth. Then up the inside, State of Treasure fifth. The Sportsman sixth, bottom turn. Sports Zipper, Just Daisy, Tough Son of a Beach right there. State of Treasure, they turn down the lane. Sport Zipper looks to close it out. Tough Son of a Beach, Just Daisy, State of Treasure locked in. Sports Zipper. He's the best in the eighth. Tough Son of a Beach second. State of Treasure third. Just Daisy fourth. 159 flat.
Sports Zipper in the eighth. 2 left turns and a trip to the winner's circle for this Son of Sports rider. Got the first turn out of the way. Got plenty of respect on the front end mark, and then just simply turned on the afterburners in the final half to win.
It was certainly that, just a no doubt about it, winner there was Sport Zipper, and Louis Waugh certainly took full advantage of that rail starting spot. And I think I just heard track announcer Rick Ryder say there is an inquiry against the unofficial winner, Sport Zipper, for a potential pylon violation.
He did look like he got in close when we watched it live in the first turn. I wasn't sure if it was enough to warrant an inquiry or not, but it sounds like that is the case. So they'll have a look at it. And as the old saying goes, when you come to the racetrack, you hold all tickets until those results have been made official. So we will await that. But in the meantime, this is a smallish colt, but he's got a nice way of going, and certainly looks effective on the half-milers, and as he potentially grows up a little bit, will likely blossom into a pretty nice little racehorse.
Yeah, I think so, and he's really falling into a bit of a pattern right now where he's posting a win every other start. That's now 3 wins in his last 6 for Sport Zipper, so 3 for 6 this year after going winless in 8 starts last year, and maybe the kind of horse that they consider trying the Prospect Series with a little later on this summer. Try and take a crack at that. That's where he was competing a year ago, and especially if it's on a half, why wouldn't you maybe consider it with the way that he seems to get around? And again, like I said, Louis Waugh just knew exactly what he was going to do here today once he landed that rail starting spot. It was lights out from the word go. A 159 scores a 5th off his career best, which was taken just 2 starts back at Clinton, a score of 158 and forward.
In the Prospect Series, that's really exactly what that was made for, those types of horses that you know, they all progress at different rates at this stage of the game, and it gives you that third option here in Ontario, and what is widely considered one of the best, if not the best, stakes program in North America. And the Prospect, introduced a couple of years ago, is that third tier. So we'll see if this guy can show up in something like that and perhaps progress and become a nice grassroots colt and good overnight horse eventually. Little guy, he's not real tall, but he's pretty well made, as you can see there in the winner's circle. Nice round guy, a good feeler by the look of it, as they say, as well, and certainly has lots of talent. So still awaiting the results, and it looks like they had a quick look at it and they have gone official. Sports Zipper, again, you're not getting rich with this guy. $3.70 winner here in race number 8, Tough Son of a Beach. We talked about Nat Day. Engineers a good result with that one.
Yeah, certainly does. Gets that second place finish, and then meanwhile rounding out your try was State of Treasure, who picks up a third, just the second time that one's hit the board in 6 tries this year, so the connections will certainly be happy with that improved effort. But it's Sport Zipper. Trainer Brett Lester, you saw him leading the horse out, a big part of the Richard Moreau operation, also trains a few of his own, including this guy right here, so he'll have a big smile on his face today after Sport Zipper got his 3rd win.
All right, a few more shout outs to folks tuning in today. Joe Shembury from Malta is watching. We've got Brad Richardson from Mississauga here in Ontario, Gloria Altman from Plato, Minnesota, and Terry Gray Sr. from Smallwood, New York. Great to have you tuning in today. Thank you for joining us. And we've had a couple of technical glitches, and that's why we haven't heard from Robert Reed yet. I believe we've got him plugged in at an alternate location, so we're hopefully going to get his thoughts on the upcoming main event today. That is the Dream of Glory final. I think we'll bring up the field here if we can, a quick look at the field page, and remind you how they're going to line up on the starting gate for this main event today. $56,200 is up for grabs. It is a field of 8. We should say that. Bucky's Angel, Jewel Magician were the also eligible. So it is a field of 8 with Sweet Soul David trying to accomplish that rare double mark that we talked about earlier.
It'd be just the 2nd horse to ever win the Balanced Image at 2 and come back and win the Dream of Glory at 3, and was a nice winner last week to extend his win streak up to 3, winning his elimination by half a length. Do note that the elimination winners from a week ago. When they went into the draw, they were guaranteed to draw between post positions 1 and 5. So a new wrinkle that's been added to several of the stakes at tracks around Ontario this season is that elimination winners draw for posts 1 to 5. So that's how this post position draw shook out. We'll see that again on Monday afternoon when we're at Grand River. It was the same situation for the Battle of Waterloo and Battle of the Bells. But Sweet Soul David got the coveted rail starting spot. Publicity Seeker post 3 and Tipsy and Dixie post 4. Those are the elimination winners. Everyone will be gunning for them, but I think a lot of eyes will also be on the 8 Highland Mowgli from the second tier.
All right, you mentioned Tipsy and Dixie, one of 3 fillies in the field and one of the elimination winners from a week ago. This one owned by thestable.ca, and earlier this week we caught up with her trainer, Harry Polton, to find out more. Tipsy and Dixie will be one of 3 fillies taking on the boys in today's $56,000 Dream of Glory final. The modest $13,000 yearling purchase has been a success story for the popular fractional ownership group, thestable.ca.
Yeah, I thought this season she'd be every bit as good as she is. She's always done everything we ever wanted her to do, so she tries hard and she's perfect mannered. She looks after herself very good.
With 7 wins in her 12 career starts and close to $100,000 in earnings, she aims for a 5th straight win today in what would be the biggest payday of her young career.
In this race, it wouldn't bother me if it rained. Actually, I'd kind of like it because she's pretty good in the mud, and I would assume he'll leave out with her. But I'm not the driver, so we'll leave that to James.
Her trainer is hoping the support of the enthusiastic ownership group can propel his filly to victory in Hanover Raceway's marquee event.
Training for the stable is very good. Anthony and Amy are good to work for. They don't bother you too much. You just report everything that you have to report to them so he can tell the owners what's going on. Everything runs very smooth. Yeah, we get a lot of the owners around here on the weekends. They were excited for the grassroots, so I'm pretty sure they're excited for this one.
Harry Polton is the trainer of Tipsy and Dixie and likes what he sees from the filly so far. Was hoping for a sloppy track, not going to happen, and we're happy about that, and I think the fans are. And I think she will be just fine on this fast oval here today. But understandable why he would say that, I think, Mark, because knowing she's in against a talented group, he knows that she handled it flawlessly a week ago. And I think that's what is impressive about her. Not the fact that she can handle off-footing, but it's the fact that she handles half-mile tracks so well. She's a big filly, but really, really smoothly gated here last week and winning.
Imagine being driver James McDonald and just knowing going to a half-mile oval with a trotter that you don't really have to have any concerns about maybe just getting into the first turn or getting around those turns. She handles it so well that she leaves him likely very confident today, and I think that allows him to be really aggressive with her here because you expect she's going to be going forward, and when you can be aggressive and have confidence, probably makes things a lot easier for a driver, whereas a few others might have to be, holding those lines a little tighter, maybe just trying to finesse them around that first bend. So it'll be interesting to see how Tipsy and Dixie fares here today, because I think she's a filly that, again, it's not a knock on her, but if we go to the big track, is this going to translate to where she could beat OSS Gold Colts? Probably not, but maybe this was just a spot meant for her.
There's a nice look right inside our paddock location at the horses, their final preparations before they head out to the racetrack for this lucrative $56,200 final. We're going to bring in Robert Reed Jr. finally. I know he's standing by, and I believe had a chance to chat with some of the connections a little bit earlier today. Rob, what were you able to find out in regards to today's final?
I was able to speak to both Doug McNair and James McDonald, and I can tell you right now, both of them seemed have the utmost confidence in their horses in this race. Doug McNair said about Publicity Seeker, thought that 2 starts ago at the OSS Gold at Rideau Carlton, he actually blamed himself and said that he should have probably let him trot more in the final turn, and maybe was a little too careful with him. Said he handled the track really well last time. And I think that Publicity Seeker is going to be tough to beat in here. He's my top selection, and right now 5-2 on the board, which to me is a giant-sized price on that one. And James McDonald, he was extremely confident in his filly as well. And I asked if she's a half-mile specialist, and he certainly agreed and thinks that it doesn't really matter who she faces on a half, that she can emerge victorious because she's been that good.
All right, we're getting a look inside the paddock location, Rob, and you were over there earlier, and this one of the nicer paddock locations for a grassroots track in the province.
Oh, definitely, yeah. It was fantastic over there seeing it. You know, Greg, this is a track that I have so many fond memories at. My family used to have a training center not too far from here, and we used to race a lot here over the summers, and it's really brought back a lot of warm feelings being back in the paddock and seeing everyone here. Really a great destination in Ontario for harness racing. And, well, I wish right now we were staying a little more dry, but still a fantastic day all around.
Yeah, the rain's starting to come down a little bit more. We can hear it on our tent out in the infield, but nonetheless, the track, no worries about that. And Mark, we talked about it earlier. The track surface here is it really is renowned and very forgiving, especially on younger horses. And I think that was made evident last week when we had all that rain, and the horses all stayed flat for the most part and performed as we expected they would.
Exactly, and the fact that the track held up, I mean, the rain that was coming down was just incredible. So for this service to take all that rain, it was still held up, like I said, and they were able to get the races contested, and then to see the performances that we saw, that really speaks volumes to what a great crew they've got here at Hanover Raceway. I asked them how many horses they had here stabled on the grounds. There are a couple barns, just less than 30, but every day, if this would be a pretty good spot to be stabled at. So I think for those here, obviously they take quite a bit of pride in their facilities.
And the Hanover area, really a hotbed for horses and horse people, and some of the most highly regarded horse people in the province come from this part of the world. The McNair clan trace their roots back here, and many others. So there they are, getting set to come on out now. We're going to get to meet them on track here in just a moment. Good looking group. They all make a good pre-race appearance in our paddock location. There's a look at Jody Jameson, the familiar green and gold colors. And don't forget, we'll be awarding a pair of his autographed colors after the show today. So again, thank you to all of you for liking, sharing, commenting on our social media channels. And don't forget, we'll be giving a set of Doug McNair's colors away during our live broadcast from Industry Day this Monday afternoon. So time to meet the field now on Post Parade for today's main event, the $56,200 Dream of Glory Final. 3-year-old Ontario sired trotters, both male and female trotters, competing here against each other this afternoon. The number 1 in the field will be Sweet Soul David, trying to accomplish that rare double that we talked about to become only the second horse to win the Balanced Image trot here at age 2 and then come back and capture the Dream of Glory at age 3. Sweet Soul David has rattled off 3 consecutive wins since coming back to Ontario, including a 202-4 victory last week in his elimination.
Sweet Soul David right now on the board at 4-1. There's a good look at Sweet Soul David passing by the grandstand. Number 2 will be Century Highness, 3-year-old filly by Royalty for Life, is owned by Glengate Farms, trained by Pat Hunt. The driver is Travis Henry, 3rd in her elimination. Drew into the final 1 for 7. This is her first season on the racetrack.
Muscle Mass has been the most prolific trotting stallion in the province the last couple of seasons, and he'll be represented by number 3, Publicity Seeker. Publicity Seeker will be driven by Doug McNair. Already a great afternoon for him. He'll be looking for his 4th driving victory. Steve Bossens trains, and this one owned by Richard Thompson along with Derek Reed and the aforementioned Bossens. Started the career off with high expectations, was in his second start lifetime, finished 6th in a Champlain Stakes division, beaten only 3.5 lengths against Grand Circuit Company, has blossomed into a very nice OSS trotter. $38,000 London selected yearling sale purchase with $120,000 on his card so far.
Next up will be number 4, Tipsy and Dixie. We already heard from her trainer, Harry Polton. She races for thestable.ca along with co-owners Hutchison Harness of North Ridgeville, Ohio. there could be a lot of high fives in the winner's circle here today if Tipsy and Dixie is victorious. It would also be her 5th consecutive win, so another reason to put up 5 fingers. The Muscle Mass filly, 4 for 5 this year after going 3 for 7 in her rookie campaign. James McDonald will steer for trainer Harry Polton, as mentioned. She was a winner last week in convincing fashion by 2.5 lengths, and she'll look to get it done as one of 3 fillies in the field.
And her younger sister, Taiwan On, winning recently at the Meadows in 155-2 on a sloppy track in a division of the Arden Stakes in only her 3rd career start, so plenty of pedigree potential for that one. There's a look at Jody Jamieson and Muscle Jack, another son of Muscle Mass, $32,000 Lexington selected yearling purchase. This is the 3rd foal from the mare J. Marie, and all 3 have been winners thus far. This one 4 for 11 coming in for trainer Blake McIntosh.
Continuing on with the post parade, we mentioned about the McNairs and their roots here in this area, this part of the province. Kilauea is number 6, a Cadabra Gelding, who finished 2nd last week in his elimination, was beat by 2.5 lengths by Tipsy and Dixie. A little camera shy, just 1 for 8 this year after going 1 for 7 last year, but has finished in the top 3 5 of those 8 starts this season. Chris Christoforou will get the call here today. Obviously, Doug McNair sticks with the elimination winner Publicity Seeker, so it is the former multi-time driver of the year in Canada, Chris Christoforou, will come in, sit behind the Greg McNair trainee for Bloomingwood Farms Limited.
Mark Etzel co-owns, trains and drives the 7 Top of the Bar, one of the other fillies in the field here this afternoon. And again, Mark, one of the people that was involved in coming up with this race back in the early 2000s. And this Muscle Mass filly, winless in 6 this season, did win 3 of 6 last year, and has a deep family, 4th foal, and a sibling to the $150,000 winner, Timel Tempest.
And post position number 8 here at Hanover Raceway starts from the 2nd tier, and that's where we will find Highland Mowgli. On paper going into the eliminations, a lot of folks had this one touted as the favorite for the Dream of Glory. Last week did the heavy lifting on the front end, but saw Publicity Seeker just go right on by, finished 2nd, and this year now for Highland Mowgli, who is 1 for 5. Highland Mowgli's got 4 second-place finishes. The Amanda Fine trainee is co-owned by Fine and Highland Thoroughbred Farm, who were the breeders. And Archangel colt Louis-Philippe Waugh will be in the bike. We just saw him in the winner's circle in race number 8. Highland Mowgli from the 2nd tier, the fastest trotter ever at Hiawatha Horse Park. That came 3 starts back. We'll look to take the Dream of Glory for Team Fine.
That's your field, and many feel the deepest field ever assembled for this race. Certainly right up there. A tremendously talented group, and many top contenders coming into today's final. If Robert Reed is still there, we're going to bring him in once again. Robin, talking about the depth and the post position draws intriguing. Of course, you've got the elimination winners leaving in posts 1, 3, and 4 here. So how do you see the race unfolding?
Well, you're exactly right. This is a rock solid group, Greg. And you know what? I watched the replays, multiple times and tried to really piece it all together. And I really do believe that Publicity Seeker is going to be gunning out for the lead. Now, Sweet Soul David's going to push out on the inside, I would think. And I know the connections aren't worried about the trailing post for Highland Mowgli. And it's one that always scares me, especially with young trotters. But he's certainly got a good one to follow. And I think he's going to try to be as tight to Sweet Soul David's helmet as he possibly can. So, I see the race, with Publicity Seeker getting the job done over Sweet Soul David. But, you can't count out the filly. I mean, she's been so good over the half-mile surfaces. And right now, 3-1 on her. I think she's got to go forward off the gate. I'm just not sure how the trip works out.
All right, Mark, what about you? Any insights to how you think it'll go? It does appear to be a lot of early speed in here, and if that develops, horses like Muscle Jack, maybe Highland Mowgli, are right in play.
Yeah, they certainly are. And Robert hit it right on the nail, right on the head there, with the fact that the inside speed is going to be very aggressive in the early going here. I've got Publicity Seeker up top as well. I'm a little more of the line of thinking that maybe Doug McNair shows a little bit of patience, tries to let the early battle rage on, and then he's making his move. I think James McDonald's got one idea going into this race, and that is to blast as hard as he can and try and get Tipsy and Dixie to the front. We'll see how Sweet Soul David gets away from the rail with Sylvain Filion sitting behind him here today. Highland Mowgli, I think Louis Waugh's got to be out and going pretty early in this one as well. He can follow in the start, but he's got to make sure he doesn't get pinned down. So I really think we're going to see a lot of action in the early going, and maybe that does set up for a horse like Muscle Jack, but ultimately I think Publicity Seeker, this is one real fine 3-year-old gelding who I think by the end of the year might be your super final champion. I think the sky's the limit for this horse, and I'm going to put him up top. Even money at the moment, and I'm not surprised. I think Publicity Seeker is the one to beat here in what is a real deep contest. Hard for me to say the one to beat when there's probably 5 you could put up top, but I really love him here.
Absolutely. I'm going to stick with Sweet Soul David, the sentimental pick perhaps. Got it done here last year under emotional circumstances and winning the Balanced Image, and trying to join Traverse Sealster as the only horse to win that event and come back the next season and add the Dream of Glory title to their resume. Another shot from the cable cam as the field assembles. It is the 2021 Dream of Glory. Once again, here's Rick Ryer.
Top of the bar, Mark Edsel. Trailer 8, Highland Mowgli. Louis Philippois. Field of 8, 3-year-old trotters. 5 boys, 3 girls, $56,200. Field is in behind the gate, top of the stretch, and here they come. It's the 20th edition. The Dream of Glory. They're off. Highland Mowgli has made a break early. Sweet Soul David, Publicity Seeker leave out. And 3 across. Tipsy in Dixie driving on 3 wide around that first turn. Sweet Soul David wants the front. Tipsy and Dixie outside second. Publicity Seeker will get away third. Century Highness early from fourth. Muscle Jack fifth. Killaway sixth. Top of the bar seventh. Highland Mowgli back down and they're at it again. Filion, Sweet Soul David up front. McNair right lines. Publicity Seeker 28 seconds flat. New leader Publicity Seeker. Doug McNair sweeps up to the lead. Sweet Soul David looks at it back in second. Tipsy and Dixie third. And those 3 have got 6 lengths as they move off the turn. Muscle Jack looks at it from fourth. Then racing fifth, Century Highness. Killaway. Highland Mowgli, top of the bar, 57-3. Publicity Seeker leads them on the turn. Sweet Soul David from second, up to the outside. Tipsy and Dixie is back first up now from third. Muscle Jack closed up fourth. Century Highness fifth. Killaway from sixth. Highland Mowgli, top of the bar. They race by 3/4. Doug McNair, Publicity Seeker. 3 wide comes Muscle Jack. Tipsy and Dixie in between them. Sweet Soul David right on the helmet. 127-4. It's Publicity Seeker. Sweet Soul David, Tipsy and Dixie is right there. Century Highness, they turn down the lane. Publicity Seeker, Sweet Soul David, they won't touch him. Publicity Seeker, the Dream of Glory. Sweet Soul David second, Tipsy and Dixie third, Muscle Jack fourth, 157-3, Publicity Seeker.
Wow, an action-packed opening 8th and opening quarter, but when the dust settled, Publicity Seeker makes that snap move to the front mark, and going to 3/4, that probably was the key moment in the race. Doug McNair stealing every bit of a breather he could.
Yeah, 30 1/3 quarter. Exactly what McNair would have wanted. He's got Tipsy and Dixie grinding first up, and he's got Sweet Soul David right on his back. He can keep that one pinned in and locked in for most of that final turn, and ultimately there's not going to be enough stretch for Sweet Soul David to try and get to Publicity Seeker, who trots home the final quarter in 29-4 to win it in 157-3, as we expected. When the wings of the gate folded, everybody was firing. Didn't work out for Highland Mowgli. That one made a miscue. That inside speed was evident, but ultimately Doug McNair, like you said, the snap move to the front, gets control, and for everyone else, they were at his mercy. and it's Publicity Seeker who wins the Dream of Glory.
I was very impressed to see three-year-old trotters, 3 wide, battling head and head all the way through the first turn. And when you see that typically on a half-mile track, generally one or more of them just can't negotiate that and will go off stride. But they all kept to task, and they went through that first turn like pacers would. So a real testament to how perfectly gated these youngsters are. And Publicity Seeker, to be caught in that speed mix, then make a quarter pole move, then be able to rate in the third quarter. I think we're looking at a really talented horse that's becoming almost push button, and that's going to be a huge weapon for him going forward.
Well, if we get to the super finals and Publicity Seeker is there and he comes out on top, maybe we'll replay the audio when I mentioned before the race that I think we could be looking at the future super final champion. I just really like this horse, and he stood out last year. This year I thought very highly that he'd have a big campaign, and now he's got 2 wins in a row after knocking on the door in his first few tries this season. Takes the Dream of Glory and just got around this track very beautifully. We saw the quick burst that he had a week ago when he moved from the 2-hole and then just left Highland Mowgli in his dust, and then here today uses that quick move early on in the mile. Oh, that opening quarter, Greg, of 28 flat. I'd have to go back and take a look, but how often do you see that for trotters here at a track like Hanover? That is big speed, like you talked about. That had to be tough on them, and full marks to Sweet Soul David and Tipsy and Dixie. I mean, the filly was battling the boys, and she hung right in there. She raced tough. I think the connections have to, nothing to hang their head at for that third place effort from her.
I thought she raced fantastic. You mentioned it. She probably got the worst of it, I think, in the opening quarter, and then it had to the unenviable task of coming first over in that final half. And we thought she was maybe starting to labor going to 3 quarters, but she came back on and found more, and was a very, very respectable third. The runner-up, Sweet Soul David, you can't take anything away from him. He was chasing right to the end and was lapped on the winner at the wire. And, had he been able to get clearance sooner and really take a run, who knows? I don't think he would have gotten by Publicity Seeker today, but might have made a real race of it. But there's a look at the winner coming back, getting the winner's blanket presented by Tony Elliott, the assistant to the GM here at Hanover Raceway as well. Maybe a thought on trainer Steve Bosson's, a guy that is not as high profile here in the province as some of the others you see racing regularly at Woodbine Entertainment, but despite small numbers, he always has very competitive horses, and over the years he's had trotters that have raced at the top level on the then OJC and now WEG circuit.
And that's it, right? There's the experience, and there's someone that has produced a lot of real good trotters. And you look at the numbers, limited starts, just 25 starts this year, but batting .417, so that's very impressive. And he's got a real nice muscle mass gelding here that's going to likely make a lot of money this season. He's a co-owner along with Richard Thompson and Derek Reed.
So some happy connections. Trainer Steve Bosson's, driver Doug McNair, his 4th winner of the day. This is by far the biggest one, though, no question about that. Robert Reed is standing by in the winner's circle, and I think we're going to throw over to him here in a moment. They're just getting set up in the winner's circle, as mentioned. Publicity Seeker did deliver as the favorite, a $3.40 winner. We're going to get you those prices in a moment. So the 3 elimination winners all performed very well today, and finish in the top 3 spots, with Muscle Jack rounding out the top 4 and the Superfecta. Again, we're going to try and get over to the winner's circle here in a second. We've got the connection standing by and ready. Mark, there's a look at Publicity Seeker heading back. And again, as we look at the close-up shots of these horses, and we've seen them from the paddock through post-parade, the race, and now the winner's circle, I marvel at the manners of the horse and how well behaved they are, and that's a big factor, especially with trotters, in being able to perform at this top level.
Oh, it is for sure, and I think that really kind of separates the top ones from the average, the mediocre horses. Look at this guy. Look at Publicity Seeker, just calm, cool, and collected after a big performance.
Alrighty, I think we've got the winning connections. Let's throw it trackside for the interview.
Driver on Publicity Seeker. Back-to-back wins, Doug, for you, winning last year with Remember Titans and now this year with Publicity Seeker. Talk about how important this race is.
It's always at the track when this race is going on, so it's a big thrill.
And a little bit of the trip, I mean, they were flying into that first turn there, and you end up actually kind of, bailing out and dropping into the 3-hole. Talk a little bit about that strategy.
Well, originally I just figured I'd go out of there beside Sylvan, and I figured he'd kind of want to follow me, but James, he got around us pretty good in the first turn, and I mean, I had really no choice but to drop him in and remove or get away third and come first up, so I took my shot and I looked at him.
And you were able to rate him and and steal the middle half there. And on the last turn, there looked like you might be taking a hold to kind of keep Sylvan pinned in, or was maybe getting a little loose on you?
Yeah, well, I didn't want nothing stupid happening. In the last turn, when you kind of got every horse where you kind of want them, and I had the best horse, so I just didn't want him over-trotting himself and making a mistake. That's all.
All right, awesome. And you had mentioned he's been racing really well in the golds, and 2 runner-up finishes so far. Got to be bound for a picture pretty soon in the gold division.
Yeah, he should have won last week. I kind of took a hold of him heading in the last turn. I think if I just let him trot a little bit, I think he would have won last time. So it's kind of my fault.
All right, well, congratulations, Doug. Back-to-back winners of the Dream of Glory, Doug McNair, this time aboard Publicity Seeker. An awesome race, great performance.
All right, thank you to Robert and Doug, and congratulations to Doug. Relatively young still in his driving career, Mark, but he's won almost everything there is to win in Ontario.
Yeah, I mean, right there. Another victory in the Dream of Glory, a race that he had not won until a year ago. Now he's got 2 in a row. And here today, it was just his driving talent on display with a horse that's got a lot of talent as well. But right here, you see him back off from the early battle, and then boom, he's going to come back around. For Doug McNair, there's a few races obviously that he has got circled that he'd love to get. I'm sure the Pepsi North America Cup, the Canadian Pacing Derby, but those will come with time. Like you said, still young in his driving career despite all the success he's had.
And boy, when we watch that replay again, that first turn, I'm still marveling at how he was able to handle that. He was being pinched pretty well between those other 2 and able to back off and then come around them in a 28-second opening quarter. And then to, again, have that ability to shut him down and get that breather in the middle half. And I think going to 3/4, Doug knew that he was sitting on the winner at that point in time and really only had Sweet Soul David to seriously worry about in the final quarter.
He did, and he's able to use Tipsy and Dixie as a bit of a pick in that sense, right? Where Tipsy and Dixie comes first up, gets to the wheel. At one moment, you wonder, is Tipsy and Dixie maybe all done? And she kind of comes back on. Is that her coming back on as much as maybe that's Doug McNair just keeping his horse back down as much as he can to avoid Sweet Soul David getting that racing room to slip out? Didn't want that one to get out until basically they were in the stretch, because it's not the longest stretch here when you got a half-mile track, and it ends up working out to perfection. You mentioned it though, Greg. I don't know if Sweet Soul David would have got to Publicity Seeker either way. It allows us a little bit of banter after, but I still think Publicity Seeker was the best here.
Well, some youngsters certainly with a bright future at age 3 now, long season left. And really, I think the sky's the limit for some of these, including Publicity Seeker. Mark, we've got viewers tuning in today from all over the world, places like Denmark and Sweden and whatnot. Who knows, where these horses could end up in a few years. But from what we've seen, races like this in Ontario and with our provincial program, it can be a stepping stone, to world level competition ultimately for these horses.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to go back very far to look at horses that maybe weren't the big superstars of the 2- and 3-year-old seasons, but develop into those real stars later on. Good quality race horses. I mean, this is a deep enough group that I think we're going to hear a lot from this crew of this Dream of Glory for quite some time, and I would put Publicity Seeker, a horse like Sweet Soul David, right up there. You're likely going to see horses like this racing in open levels down the road, maybe not just places in Ontario, but south of the border. You know, there's some horses here that get around a half like that would be big targets for other barns, you know, maybe even in the Yonkers area when they're looking for a horse that could race at those high levels one day, and maybe a year from now when their sire stakes careers have come to an end.
All right, and speaking of top trotters, a big card tonight at the Meadowlands Racetrack. Eliminations for the Hambletonian Oaks. Hard to believe we're already at that time of year.
It is, isn't it? And, you know, here we are just coming into the month of August. It's incredible. And I think maybe something to the fact that we had that shutdown, that kind of makes things feel like they're flying by right now, because we didn't really have that winter spring lull where you're getting so anxious for the big races and for the stakes season to come back up. But now it's here and it's coming at us full force, and before you know it, we'll be into September and the fall months, but let's enjoy it while we can.
Absolutely. We've got a busy weekend of coverage here. We're only just beginning. We're going to be back this Monday afternoon, and gives us a chance now to bring back in Robert Reed Jr., who does the handicapping at Grand River this season. And looking ahead to a big card there Monday, Robert, and who's your pick for the Battle of Waterloo?
Well, that's an easy one, Greg. I can't go against Better Have My Money. He's looked absolutely incredible in every single one of his starts, and you know, if there was any questions about him handling that half-mile surface last time, he put those to rest with an incredible performance, and I just can't see anybody touching him. Of course, Nick Gallucci, Millar Farms, and James McDonald have teamed up for so many wins, especially with the younger horses this season, and I do not see them getting to that one at all.
I'm in full agreement. Really looking forward to watching him and watching that entire program. We'll have some bonus coverage as part of our COSA-TV broadcast this Monday as well. 2 grassroots races from Dresden Raceway, and excellent fields going to the post in that one. Later in August, as you saw there, the Earl Rowe from Georgian Downs, and then we're back at Woodbine Mohawk Park after that for some big programs into the month of September. So again, we want to thank you for joining us. We got it in just in time. The rain is really starting to fall in behind us here, but it hasn't dampened the enthusiasm here one bit. We want to thank you again for joining us today. Stay tuned to our social media channels. We're going to announce the winner of that first set of driving colors from Jody Jamieson. We've got another set to give away Monday as part of our show from driver Doug McNair. How timely is that as well? So again, thank you for joining us today. Enjoy the rest of your long holiday weekend, and we'll see you next time on COSA TV.